Right now, on the upside, the sun is out, swimsuits are in. Y'all are looking pretty hot out there, but we don't want our skin to feel all that heat, so we've got some ideas today to help you out.
Plus, who's number one? Where's the best place in the country to live and why? Find out where your hometown ranks.
The upside, moonwalking our way through the end of this Monday. You go, guy. Let's do it.
It's time to look up.
Let's talk about this.
That's a great idea.
To enjoy stories showing the brighter side of life.
A catalyst for growth.
Well, you don't see that every day.
Showing good people doing great things.
This is my purpose.
Turning troubles into triumphs.
What a creative solution.
Everyday heroes rising up to inspire hope. Right now, on the upside.
You are looking at some of the winners and the entrants in the Close-Up Photographer of the Year contest. With more than 9,000 entries from 54 different countries, photogs all over the world put a spotlight on the tiniest details of Mother Nature in their images. There are multiple categories they can submit in, including animals, insects, landscape, and much more.
Gorgeous pictures. You just wonder how with some of those live critters, how they got that close. They were able to get the shot without scaring the critter, you know?
Yes, yes. You know, in the lighting, I mean, think about that, right? You know, working in television, lighting is a big deal, very important.
Right?
You know,
the lights.
How do you light these in? What about the lens you use? What are special lenses? It's fascinating stuff.
They make it look pretty good, though. Well done. Beautiful images there. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's begin, as we always do, with stories from the very top of our feed. And we start today with one of those great topics for debate. Where is the best place to live in America? And you're getting it from a couple of folks who have lived in big cities and small towns all across the U.S.
Yes, the 150 most populous metro areas in the U.S. are ranked based on affordability, quality of life, desirability, and job market. This year, Green Bay, Wisconsin took the #1 spot thanks to affordable housing, low crime, and high air quality. Huntsville, Alabama, Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina, an area Rob knows a lot about.
Yeah, Tar Heels.
College. Yeah, Boulder, Colorado, and Sarasota, Florida are rounding out this year's top 5. The annual rankings also take into account factors that people consider when they're moving to someplace new, including the cost of living, the weather, and access to health care.
See, and you said a key word there, weather. So I'm trying to understand how Green Bay, I've never been, it could be the most beautiful place on earth, but Midwest winters are rough.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I lived in Chicago for a little over a year. I was like, ooh, and grew up in New Jersey, so I know rough winters. But so I don't know how they still got points in that area. Maybe everything else is so good that it kind of overshadowed the weather. Maybe that's how it went down.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
With the Raleigh-Durham area, you know, and I've never lived there, just have spent some time there living in another area of North Carolina. How I was going to say fabulous, and I'm tripping over my words. Fabulous.
It's Monday, it's fine.
I know. Full disclosure, I have a cough drop in my mouth here. That's why. How fabulous was it there in terms of the weather, the people, all of that?
Hey, listen,
Great place. Huh?
Proud Chapel Hill grad, Tar Heels. That was my, as a Jersey kid, that was my first Southern experience. So first time having good barbecue, first time going to the Waffle House, first time it was 80 in February.
Yes.
So North Carolina's a beautiful, beautiful state, and I'm biased, obviously. So all those places seem cool, and look, it's all subjective. The best place to live is wherever you're happy. How about that?
That's
so
true. Yes.
There we go.
Aw. Well, whether you were living in one of those spots, odds are you're not too far from one of our national parks. Did you know there are 63 of them?
And now Joy and Brad Ryan just finished their mission to see each and every one of them. They hit them all. So what makes their trips extra special? Their grandma and grandson. They spent 7.5 years checking off the list, ending with a trip to American Samoa. And Brad documented their travel on Instagram, of course. The idea started when Grandma, now 93, told him she regretted how little traveling she had done in her life. And so he's like, well, Grandma, got something for you. Let's go see the world, you know?
That's awesome.
Let's go see these parks. Yeah, I love that too. That one, you get to a certain age, everyone has some regrets, all said and done, you know.
Sure.
But that one, boom, no longer on the regret list because he made it happen for her. That's beautiful.
Right. No, it really is time to bond, time to take pictures, you know, and I mean, every day's a gift. We know that no matter what age you are in your life, and Grandma, is probably thinking, okay, I'm on sort of the other side of things right now, and I'm going to make these days count. So what better to make them count by being with someone you love? And
Amen to that. And here's to being 93 and being able to still travel well.
Right?
Not everybody can.
No.
93 and still can do all that. Hey, she's doing something right, living well.
Excellent point.
We'll file this next story under one man's trash is another man's treasure.
No, it starts with a church in Philadelphia that was being renovated. Some of the stained glass windows were going to be replaced, so the church was selling them off, and a collector bought a pair of them for $6,000. He cleaned them up and discovered that they were Tiffany's originals,
Whoa.
valued at more than 20 times what the collector paid. They were then sold at an auction for $250,000. Now the collector and the church are talking about how to share in the profits.
Love that. There is something really, whether you're religious or not, there is something just truly gorgeous about stained glass, and when the sun hits it just right and the colors, and it really is beautiful.
Yes.
So regardless of worth, they're just an amazing decorative touch, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're sharing amicably, right, those profits. Like I kept thinking about that. I'm like, oh, I hope that this isn't going to turn into a money battle. You would hope not, with the church being involved.
Let's hope there weren't any, or at least very few lawyers
Yeah,
involved
exactly.
in making the deal.
Yep.
Oh, man, beautiful to look at. All right, everybody, time to bring you a few quick stories that are just fun to know. We love this part of the show. And today we honor a show which defined everything from pop culture to politics, also helped launch the careers of comedians we are still laughing with today. Truly iconic entertainment institution.
And now, here's Johnny.
We're, of course, talking about The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, the late night king, ending his reign on this date back in 1992. Carson's monologue roasted presidents such as Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, and the first Bush.
He had so many great characters during his 30-year run. We remember Carson as, of course, Karnak the Magnificent, and the character may have been a tribute to his childhood love of magic. Remember that hat? Remember that whole bit he used to do? Carson fell in love with performing when he found a book of magic at a friend's house one day. He ordered a kit, started a show, and got his first paid gig as a 14-year-old, the great Carsoni. Tickets were $3.
Oh my goodness. Wow. It's also fun to know those pencils Johnny Carson loved fiddling with. Well, they had erasers on both ends so that nobody, including Johnny, would get accidentally hurt.
Brilliant. Well done. Yeah, I never knew that. That's fascinating. And finally, if you were a Carson fan and you watched that final show of his back in '92, Bette Midler was his his last guest, his first guest, Groucho Marx. That tells you the span of The Tonight Show. And if you remember also, because I was a Carson fan, and that last show, two things I remember. One, Bette Midler serenaded him. And one more for the road, and brought tears to his eyes, and she came out sat down there at that famous set and sang to him. And then Carson came up and gave a kind of a closing monologue, and rarely an emotional guy, right? But you could tell the 30 years of being this legend. And he said, I bid you all a heartfelt good night, holding back tears as he said it. And that was how he bowed out, which was crazy. And even Letterman, another late night legend, said, everyone you see on late night television, including myself, we're all just trying to imitate and be Johnny Carson. He was the original. He sure really was. Just an iconic guy, just effortlessly funny and cool, was a fashion icon, the whole thing. Yeah.
He really did, I think, paved the way for so many other comedians, actors, talk show hosts to go forward and then embrace the craft that he loved so much and that he perfected through all those years. And so it really gave them something to aspire to, as you said. And so many of them will credit him. I see interviews all the time with comedians who say he was one of my inspirations. He was somebody I used to watch, and look at the premises, how he developed them, through the jokes, the monologues, everything that he would do in the interview style. He
was hugely famous and made late night TV an institution in this country. That's really what he did for everyone who came after him. So,
you're right.
Yep.